Hello everybody. Today I would like to talk about the coordinate systems within Rhino and also explore whether they are the best way to draw and define shapes within boundaries. Okay, so let's start. Let's talk about the absolute coordinate system. Basically, the absolute coordinate system is a way of defining positions in 3D space through the input of the x, y, and the z value. Okay, so let's illustrate by drawing a square using polyline. Okay, so I'm going to click on the polyline. Okay, so ask for the start of the polyline. So I want to draw the polyline at the center of the 3D space. The value will correspond to x equals 0, y equals 0, and z equals 0. So I simply have to key 0, 0, 0. Press enter to establish the first location. Okay, the next location I want is actually here. So using the x, y, and z input method again, I'm going to key in the value, which will be 10 for x, 0 for y, and 0 for z. Okay, so key 10, 0, 0, press enter, I will get the next location. Okay, now I want to draw the next point here. Okay, previously we already established that the z value is 0. This will also mean that the z value is on the construction plane itself. So we do not actually have to key the z value. So for this location, I simply have to key the x followed by the y. So I key the 10 for x, comma 10 for y, press enter, and I will get this location. Okay, now I want to key this location, which is 0, 10. Again, I don't have to key the z value. Press enter, and now I can move my cursor back to the first point to complete the creation of the square. Yes, I've got the square. Okay, within Rhino itself, beside the absolute coordinate system, there are also the relative and the polar coordinate systems. But for our video, we're not going to dwell into that, because our main issue here is to explore whether the coordinate systems are the best way to define and draw shapes within boundaries. Okay, in my opinion, they might not be the best way, because we, as human beings, we do not always think in terms of numbers. I mean, most of the time, we are visual animals. We tend to understand things visually. So for my case, I use a method of drawing construction lines to define the boundaries. Okay, let me illustrate my point. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Okay, so let's say I need to draw an object with a height of 30 unit and a width of 20 unit, and it's not exactly geometrical. It's sort of rounded by the sides. So what I can do as a start is to draw a horizontal line as the construction line for the height. Okay, so let me just draw a line that cut across the 0 value. Okay, so I've drawn the first line. Okay, now I need to draw the other line that will define the height. To do that, you can type the offset command, press enter, and then click on the distance option to input the actual value. So as we have mentioned before, the height is actually 30. So I'm going to type 30, press enter, and select the curve and click on the position above the curve to establish the height. Okay, now I have established the height. Okay, and as we have mentioned before just now, the width of my object is 20 unit. Okay, I have another additional information of the object being symmetrical. So in this case, I can start to draw the width by firstly defining the center line. So I click the polyline and I draw the center line that is along the green line, which is a 0 value. Okay, so again I will use the offset command to establish the width. Okay, press offset. Okay, I know that the width is 20, and at the same time is symmetrical. What I can do is I can click on the distance option. I can type 20 divide by 2. Divide will be denoted by the backslash. 20 backslash 2, enter. This will give the distance on one side. So now I click on the curve. I can click on one side to establish the width on one side, then press enter again to repeat the last command to draw the width on the other side. Okay, so now I have drawn the necessary construction curves for me to start to draw my profile curves. Okay, to draw the profile curve, you have to use the object snaps to help define and accurately snap to the relevant locations. In our case, in most cases, the intersect is a very important object snaps and the end. Okay, so let me do a demonstration. Okay, I'm going to use the control point curve method to draw one half of my shape. So this is the start point. You notice when I hover close to the intersect, the intersect snap is enabled. So I can click down to establish the first point. And if I want to draw a line that will be tangent when mirrored onto this side, I can have the near of snap enabled. Okay, so I can click here. Okay, the last point should be using the intersect of snap again. Okay, so I've established one half. Okay, if you want to make some fine adjustment, you can always click on the line and move the points to do some fine adjustments to the profile. Okay, I'm done with one half. So now I want to mirror the other side. So what I can do is simply use the mirror command to draw the other half. Okay, great. So I got the two sides. Okay. So you can see the curves are actually drawn within the boundary that we established. So let's say I am given additional information of the depth of the design being 5 units. What I can do is I can do another offset in a separate view. So firstly, what I need to do is I select the relevant line that I need to offset. Then I go to the view that I need to execute the offset. Okay, so I type offset, press enter, and then define the distance. As I mentioned, our distance is 5, so press 5, enter. Then we go to our view, in this case the right view, to establish the depth. Okay, so you can see that I have created all the necessary construction lines. Okay, now I can start to define the side profile. Okay, one trick that I use to help me visualize locations in another view is to use the point. Okay, see, use the point to snap to the locations that I want to see on another view. Okay, so you can see I have created two points, and when I move to the right view, I can still see the points here in, so that I'm able to know that I actually need to draw my side profile from here. Okay, so I can use the point snap to start to draw my curve. Okay, so okay, and here I want to snap to this place here, so I can actually use the object snap near to snap to the near. Okay, then I'm going to do the same for the other side. Okay, make sure the snap point is turned on, so snap to the point. Okay, then we turn on the near to establish the last point. Okay, we have got all our curves. Now we can start to create our surfaces. Okay. Click the join to join these two curves. Okay, the side profile, I want to use the sweep one rail to create. Okay, so sweep one rail, so select rails this, cross sections this and this, press enter and close sweep. Okay, click OK. Yes, I've got the side profile. Okay, my top profile is not exactly flat, but the depth, the maximum depth is 5. So I come here and I start to draw the curve again. Okay, so snap to near. It's my first curve. Okay, to copy another one over here. Bring this down a little bit. Okay, then I do the mirror onto the other side. Okay, for the top surface, I'm going to use the loft. Okay, this is just a generic example. Your form might differ, and therefore the type of workflow and the type of surface creation tool used might be different as well. So select this, enter. Okay, yeah. So I got my top profile, and I can proceed to trim off the unwanted surfaces, unwanted region of surfaces. Okay, click the trim object. Okay, yeah. As you can see, our basic profile is basic shape is been created, and they are created within the boundary that has been previously defined. Okay, I hope that this video has been helpful to you. See you around. Bye.